onto the field as well. Paul Carr back in the side. Jean-Marc Garcia. Keith Senior, the new tourist for Great Britain, enter to a cacophony of sound. It's a marvellous atmosphere here at Knowsley Road for this. And Paul Broadbent, the Sheffield captain, he will also be in Papua New Guinea, Fiji and New Zealand. Mark Aston, 1992 a British Lion. His next try will be the 50th of his career. Not a bad night to reach a milestone like that. And here come the Saints, led by Bobby Goulding. Not many smiles on the St Helens faces, but plenty of smiles on the terraces. This is a big night for these players, and no one knows that more than Bobby Goulding. They come back to Knowsley Road after 4 matches away from home. It's been a month since they've been here, and Knowsley Road now holds the key to the first Super League crown. Tremendous atmosphere inside the stadium as St Helens come home for 2 matches that stand between them and the title. The first time they will have reigned supreme in 21 years. St Helens have Steve Prescott at fullback, Hayes, Hunt, Newlove and Sullivan, Martin and Goulding. The forwards, Perolini, Cunningham, Fogarty, Joint, Morley, Hammond. On the bench, Pickavance, McVie, Haig and Matautier. Coach, Sean McRae. Preparations just about finished for St Helens. Here's the opposition. Maiko at fullback for Sheffield Eagles. Dakwitonga, Stott, Senior, Garcia, Lawford and Aston. Talented side with Broadbent, Lawless and Lawton up front. Hughes and Carr second row. It's Mick Cook, the loose forward. On the bench, McAllister, Sheridan, Turner and Farrell. Coach is one of the visionaries of the Super League, Gary Hetherington. Top match, top referee, Russell Smith is the man in the middle. Sean McRae trying to stay aloof from it all, no doubt. But he knows that this is an important 80 minutes. This and the game against Warrington on August Bank Holiday Monday holds the key to the championship. A super atmosphere for the Stones Super League, and it's apparently a problem with the football that's been placed on the spot. A quick change and then Bobby Goulding will get us underway. Crowd in marvellous voice, approaching 10,000 I would think, as Bobby Goulding gets this vital match underway for St Helens. Here's Paul Broadbent with the first run, greeted by the tackle from Chris Joint. But St Helens, I think, have been caught immediately with a head-high tackle.
I think you find the big prop forward, Adam Fogarty, was involved. Joint came through to help him. Fogarty there swinging the big left arm. And Broadbent felt that one. Well, we knew it was going to be tough, especially in the opening exchanges. Sheffield really have to rely on their big mobile pack. Saints have got so much power out wide.
Lawless, the dummy half. Mick Cook celebrated his 35th birthday at the start of this month. Lawless again. He helps it on to Lawford, and then it goes further wide. Good tackling from this St Helens defence. Paul Carr, the man who was brought to ground. Broadbent, neat 1-2 with Lawless, the hooker, who must be disappointed that he's missed out on the tour after playing for England twice this season.
That'll be a big battle also, the two hookers, Lawless and Cunningham. Cunningham selected on the tour, as Eddie mentioned, Lawless not. So quite a few points to prove out there tonight.
Steve Prescott named on the tour, he did well, catching the high bomb. But that's good defence from Sheffield Eagles. And that was little Joey Hayes, and what a comeback he has made. Aston got a hand to that. On!
That'll be a knock-on, though, from Aston. He has to play the first one. No advantage to the Saints. Aston looking somewhat perplexed, but quite clearly could see that the left arm of the little halfback certainly got in there. Quite interested in see the Sheffield Eagles tactics early in the game. We saw Broadbent working the blind, then bringing the ball back on the inside. They obviously feel that there's a weakness in and around the play the ball area for Saints.
That's Tommy Martin on from the start. This is Chris Joint back in the side after injury, and that was a crunching tackle on him by Ian Hughes. The crowd didn't like it, but the referee was happy enough. This now is Fogarty. He's tackled standing up.
Well, Hughes just put the shoulder. It was a pretty hefty hit, but it was fair. And it's a good defensive effort by the Eagles so far, and you can see that they're working in and around that scrum base, the play the ball base.
Hammond takes the tackle. This now is Goulding, and Goulding drifts one over the top. Dakwatonga will pick it up 10 metres from his own line, sets off on a run, and there were 3 St Helens players there to greet him: Goulding, Martin and Paul Newlove.
Good kick and chase over into the corner.
3 minutes gone, 0-0, this vital match for St Helens. Sheffield Eagles playing for pride, playing to help Wigan. Incredible. Broadbent. Gary Hetherington, the coach, said earlier today when I spoke to him that there's not many who would want to do Wigan a favour, but he does tonight, and he wants to prove that Sheffield Eagles are a better side than we saw at Bramall Lane against Wigan just a couple of weeks ago. Chip over the top, Prescott follows it almost to his own line, and then rounds Dakwatonga. Dakwatonga gets back, though the tackle is not complete. He cuts inside Lawford.
Well, Dakwatonga had a hand on him then, and the motion had stopped. Perhaps the fullback lucky to get away with that.
St Helens spinning the ball out wide with Hammond.
Well, this is the incident. Well, perhaps he released him just at the moment.
Offside, meanwhile, against Sheffield Eagles, right on the halfway line. Penalty to St Helens. They have to stand back, the defending side, 10 metres at the play the ball.
He allowed the advantage, but the big centre, Keith Senior, had moved up far too quickly.
Fogarty will drive the ball down the middle for St Helens.
I get the impression from the opening play by Saints they want to get the ball out wide, and why shouldn't they? Alan Hunt, Paul Newlove, Hayes and Sullivan.
They're
quite
inside
impressive.
The 20-metre zone. This is Martin. Martin sees a gap and goes for it. Desperate defence. He was hauled down in the end by Dale Lawton. But here is Goulding now. Goulding, short ball, Hammond. Hammond is hauled down by Broadbent and also David Maiko. St Helens examining this Eagles defence with Goulding. Long floated pass out wide to Sullivan. Sullivan goes round Dakwatonga and scores. Just the start that Saints needed. And Sullivan in a rich vein of form. He went round Dakwatonga as though he was a statue. Sullivan with the try, his 12th in Super League. The Lions tourist strikes for the Saints.
The build-up was absolutely superb. Carl Hammond got him into this position. Not the best pass out wide, but talking about standing up your opposite number. Beautiful play by Sullivan. He melts the crowd and said, I need cheers for this, and rightly so. In and out, just a little step. Dakwatonga was left rooted to the spot. Give me the accolades, he says. Beautiful switch. Goulding's pass got the right bounce, but excellent skills from Sullivan.
5 tries in his last 3 matches for Anthony Sullivan. And Bobby Goulding now, the first man to the magical 100 Super League goals. Best kicker in the game this season, and this is a test of his ability. Goulding drifts it towards the posts, just faded and went under the crossbar. St Helens 4, Eagles 0.
Switch of play by Goulding, the long ball out wide. Dakwatonga is left on his own and is stood up superbly. In and out by Sullivan. Wonderful play. What a great start to the Saints. The crowd are up for this one, and so are the players.
Good start for St Helens, exactly what they wanted. could become the first St Helens side in 30 years to win the league and cup double. In 1966, Alex Murphy led a great side to the double. Men like Tom van Vollenhoven, Len Killeen, John Mantle, Cliff Watson in that team. And St Helens of 1996 could emulate that great team over the next 8 days. Good tackling on Broadbent. Perolini, he picked him out with Cunningham. Aston, nice little chip over the top from Aston, but Chris Joynt read it well.
Tremendous play there by Chris Joynt. Put himself into the sweeping role. Read the game so well then. But a nice little option from Aston.
Ball is dropped. Sheffield have it back with Lawford.
That should have been a penalty, surely.
And it is. Head-high tackle on Dean Lawford.
Well, perhaps the ball was reefed away from Prescott. But play on by the referee. And they just lost their marbles, Saints, going far too high. He's not happy, the fullback Steve Prescott. I think you'll find the finger went in there. Well, they got away with it, and then here you see New Love, the swinging arm. That's the reason why Aston has the opportunity to put the Eagles on the board for the first time.
He's bang in front, and Mark Aston is an accomplished kicker himself. 81 Super League goals so far, and make that 82, and the crowd silenced. Did their best to put him off. St Helens 4, Sheffield Eagles 2, courtesy of the boot of Mark Aston. So 4-2, and Mark Aston will restart this game. That's the way it is in Super League. Scoring side restarts. His kick-off to Alan Hunt, and Hunt with the first run. This is Joey Hayes. Joey Hayes, such a tremendous comeback. Shock selection in many people's view for the Lions tour. Just 7 comeback games. Perolini's head went back then in that challenge. No penalty forthcoming. Cunningham, outstanding young hooker.
Had a tremendous season, and that's a first run, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more. The switch back on the inside from Goulding. Goulding looks he's in the mood as well.
Good quick hands from St Helens. This is Hunt. Ball out wide, and Hayes gets another. The referee has ruled it out. No try. No try for St Helens. Forward pass. The decision from Russell Smith. Calmest man at Knowsley Road. The man in the middle.
Beautiful support play then, and you can see that the final pass from Alan Hunt just in front. Well spotted there. And you can see the position of Russell Smith. It was outstanding. Well, it was good positional play by Alan Hunt. He sucked in the full back. David Maiko came to him out wide.
From the scrum, Paul Carr has possession, but it's Goulding and Perolini harassing him. And that's Mick Cook. Joint there, and Carl Hammond also. It's now Jean-Marc Garcia, the Frenchman.
Well, if the Eagles didn't know what sort of tactics that the Saints were going to throw at them, they certainly do know now, because Saints really are eager to get this ball out wide. They're doing 2 neat drives, keeping it tight and getting the link. Goulding and Tommy Martin, they are eager to get this ball out wide.
It's the last tackle for Sheffield Eagles, so Mark Aston will kick, and he will find touch. That's a good kick from Mark Aston.
Relieves the pressure. Took it on the open side and then just checked back. Could see there was no one at home. Pretty hot conditions out there. Both sides not too eager to run to form the scrum. You can't blame them.
Well, it was 30 degrees earlier on here at Knowsley Road, but thankfully the heat has gone out of the day as we approach kick-off time, and it's absolutely perfect now for a fast, open, fluent game, and I'm sure that that is what St Helens are looking for. They're looking to put on a show as champions. 11.5 minutes gone. They lead by 4 points to 2. Victory here will set up the match against Warrington on August Bank Holiday Monday as the one that will clinch the title for them if they win it. Perellini down the middle, tremendous run, stopped by David Maiko.
Beautiful work though by the loose forward Carl Hammond. He's fitted into the forward role exceptionally well. Normally played standoff throughout this season, but his coach Sean McRae feels that he'd be one of the best loose forwards going around eventually.
That's good defence from Sheffield Eagles. They wrapped up Tommy Martin. He couldn't get the ball away on the last tackle. St Helens just losing their way a little.
Well, it's very rare you see the Saints not take full advantage of their complement of 6 when you've got the likes of Bobby Goulding out there. He's normally streaming for the football to take control, get the kick in. They just lost the plot slightly.
Here's Ian Hughes. Good defence now from St Helens. Scrambling defence. Martin in there quickly, helping out Chris Joint. Lawless. And that's Lawton, who has started the last 3 matches. And it's a penalty to St Helens. Moved off the mark. Dale Lawton.
Well, Fogarty was all over the top. Well, of course he moved off the mark. Fogarty was all over the top of him. He puts him down, then lays all over him. The rules state you roll away. So how on earth can he give a penalty for that? For moving off the mark, he'd no option. Fogarty was all over him.
Well, this is Fogarty now, and he's taking St Helens to the 20-metre line. Cunningham is the acting halfback. This is Perellini. Cunningham again in at dummy half. Goulding's running the angle, jinking and stepping, but Stott is there and Lawford to bring him down. Newlove, leading scorer in Super League, Paul Newlove. Good defence from Hughes. Dakwatonga there too. They will try it now the other way. This is Martin. Ball back on the inside to the prop forward Fogarty. He's wrestled to the floor.
Bobby Goulding kick for the corner perhaps. Watch out for Hayes.
It's a diagonal kick. It's bounced though so kindly for Steve Prescott. Well, if you win championships you need a touch of luck, and the luck was on St Helens' side then. Goulding tried the kick to the other side and it bounced kindly for Prescott.
If you force it, sometimes it pays off, and look at that, bobbed up nicely for the full-back. Didn't intend that. You see Goulding kick back on the face of the attack, came off Broadbent's knee, picked up. Lady Luck shines, crowd won't mind. The option back on the inside. Broadbent couldn't do anything about that. One of those fluke occurrences. Comes off the big prop's knees. Good kick though, really, the option there. You could see that Bobby Goulding was looking the angle away from where he was kicking. Not that that helped. Sheer fluke, but Saints will take it.
Steve Prescott, named for the Great Britain Lions tour, a try last week in Paris. That was his first for 8 weeks. 2 in quick succession. Goulding with the extra 2. Makes no mistake this time. That will settle the nerves. 10 points to 2 at Knowsley Road. This big crowd here to see St Helens take another step towards the title.
Well, Bobby Goulding was shaking his head as he went back for the kickoff. He knows that the slice of luck, and a rather large slice at that, came their way. But as Eddie mentioned, you need luck sometimes to win a championship. The minutes are ticking away, and at the moment everything's looking a-okay for the St Helens side. But they're a gutsy team, this Sheffield Eagles outfit. They won't throw the towel in, they'll come back.
And here they come now with Ian Hughes. This Super League race has been fascinating this summer, and we've brought it to you from start to finish here on Sky Sports. And we are going to follow St Helens and Wigan every inch of the way, and London and Warrington, because it's all about the top 4 now, as well as the championship, and the championship will be decided next weekend. Wigan Workington on Saturday, London Castleford on Sunday, and on Bank Holiday Monday we're here at Knowsley Road again for St Helens against Warrington. What a finish, What a title race. What a summer we've had on Sky Sports.
Well, you're talking about following the teams, but that's what Sheffield failed to do. Lawton made a good run, but now it's the Saints running hot again. They're getting the ball out wide and the gaps are appearing.
They play a champagne brand of rugby league football here at Knowsley Road.
The Sheffield defence is moving up very quickly, but if anybody just comes out of the line just for a fraction, the gap's there.
And there is a gap for Newlove, and Sullivan gets his second. Sullivan will run round and improve the angle, and St Helens are on their way to the victory that they so desperately needed. They're on their way back to the top if they keep this going.
Pretty to watch. We spoke about the link between Goulding and Martin. Superb pass, and you could see that they were running out of numbers. Perfect centre play on this occasion from Newlove. Sullivan in for his second. He's eager. The entire team are. It's great work. Good tactics. Martin sends a big centre through. He feeds his wing like all good centres should. Did well. Comes round, makes it easy for Bobby.
Anthony Sullivan, Welsh international, Great Britain international, and a tourist in 1996 in sensational form. Goulding now with his third conversion and another 2 points to the St Helens total. They've got the start they wanted, 16 points to 2. Goulding restarts then, 16 points to 2 to the good. 18.5 minutes of this match gone. And Anthony Farrell is on the field for Sheffield Eagles. Gary Hetherington has made a change to try and stem the flow. And it's Paul Broadbent who has come off for Anthony Farrell. That's a blow, losing Broadbent. Maybe it's tactics, maybe it's injury. Linton Stott learned his trade not far from here at the Woolston Amateur Club in Warrington. This now David Maiko.
Good defence there by Saints. They are moving up in one line. Nice kick though by Aston. Splits them through. Could see they failed to move up. He knows it's a big job ahead of him. And he's been around a while as Mark Aston. He knows what's needed. Apply the pressure. Let's hope that Saints make the mistake. That's what he'll be looking for. But they have been hit with a whirlwind. Really was a tremendous try there. Well worked, good team effort.
It's the perfect start for St Helens, just what they wanted, just what Sean McRae must have hoped for when we spoke to him last night. He knew the job that St Helens had to do. And look at the clean breaks that St Helens have made. 10-1, overwhelming advantage for them so far. Well, one of the men, of course, who has helped St Helens into this situation is the young winger Danny Arnold, currently out of the side, but he's on the touchline now with Alistair Mann.
Arnold, it's a great atmosphere and the players are responding.
Yeah, the boys are on fire at the moment. We started off well. Sully's on fire. He's beat his winger, and he's just put him in for. I knew he's just put him in for a good try then. So the boys are playing really well. I think they're up for this one. So,
what was the feeling in the dressing room? To blast them early?
Well, obviously we wanted to come out and get a good start, and we have done, and hopefully we can keep it up all the way through.
Clearly the important thing was to maintain the challenge with Wigan having the game before you. Was it any kind of nerves? Is there anxiety at all in the dressing room?
Well, yeah, there's bound to be a few nerves because we're coming to the end of the season and these games mean so much. We've only got 2 games and a lot hangs on them really. It's all our work all the way through the season, so no one really wants to let it slip. But I'm sure the boys will come through.
Newlove. They wrestle him down. He attracted 4 and 5 defenders to him then. Paul Newlove. Pandemonium in the Eagles' defence. Quick hands. Cunningham. And Paul Carr was there, but a crucial tackle. Perolini! And he's just held up, I think, over the line. The referee is going to go and hand it on to the video ref.
He didn't get it down for mine.
Well, that was certainly the first impression.
He reached out, but the cover defence was quick. They went underneath. You'll see that Farrell and Cook...
well, listen to this crowd. They are doing their best to influence the video ref, but they cannot hear him.
Seeing his arms underneath it, he doesn't get that ball down.
No try. He can't hear us either, by the way, the video ref.
Well worked there by the big centre, Keith Senior, and Farrell got underneath.
So all eyes in this stadium are on the big screen. And here's the decision. Ooh, they don't like that. But if they looked at the screen, they would have known in their heart of hearts that was no try.
It'll make no difference to this Saints fan crowd. They don't mind. They don't want technology when it's against them. Only when it's for them.
St Helens get head and feet at the scrum because the man was held up over the line. Prescott picked that ball up out of the air brilliantly and then fed Sullivan, who's on the verge of a hat-trick. Prescott dummy half. Hammond, Fogarty, 10 metres from the line. Good defence again from Sheffield, but their line has already been breached on 3 occasions. Goulding, long kick to the corner, looking for Hayes. Bounces, Hayes in touch. Touch, flag was up right away. Joey Hayes.
He did well though, didn't he? Tremendous take. Beautiful kick there, and it bounced up. Takes it there. Oh, just.
He brushed the line, and the line is out.
I bet he brushed his teeth closer. There wasn't much in that. He waited for the bounce. It was a well-weighted kick from Bobby Goulding. But there was no one at home, was there?
No one at home at all, and 2 disallowed tries now for Joey Hayes, the forward pass and that one.
Well, this Eagles defence has got to get themselves sorted out quickly. Oh, he took his eyes off the football then.
Alan Hunt went for the intercept. Bobby Goulding hacked ahead. And the soccer skills out there. Someone's got it down.
Joey Hayes.
Jean-Marc Garcia has come up with the ball. Has Joey Hayes got the try?
That's for mine.
Well, we're going to the video ref again.
Well, they don't like it, but you can't blame them. Russell Smith can't run as fast as some of these players.
Well, if there's a doubt, he must go, and there is a doubt. This is Hayes.
Takes it well. But did he get it down? You can't see from that angle.
This will tell us.
Touch judge was there. Hunt did the right thing. Took his time. Side-footed it.
The crowd will tell you. Oh. Well, they're convinced.
I think you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt there. Oh, he lost it.
It looked like it there, didn't it?
He picked it and he lost it. That angle there tells a different story, doesn't it? There's the ball going behind.
He's lost it.
No try again. That's 3 now for Saints.
Well, is it going to be third time lucky or unlucky for Joey Hayes?
I'll have 2 bob with you.
Sean McRae watching with the rest of us.
No try for mine.
Joey Hayes looking. Here it is, the decision. Oh, they're not happy. You're right. Modern technology. So long as it goes Saints' way, they'll have it.
Don't tell them I've just won 2 bob either. Well, you've got to admire them. At least they are breaching this line. They are getting there. It's been a tremendous effort. The attacking football on show by the Saints is pure champagne stuff. And listen to this crowd now. 3 disallowed tries. They want more. Make sure you get them correctly. That's what they want.
That's a lovely ball out wide to Senior, but that's a forward pass. The Great Britain tourist fell as he tried to get the ball out wide. But it was a lovely ball out wide for Senior to run onto.
Well, he did well to take this, but not the best effort at the end. No way in the world that the Frenchman Jean-Marc Garcia could get to it. But the Eagles realise now that they've got to start getting the ball out wide.
This is Goulding. Goulding with a lovely run. He gives it to Hammond. Hammond to the corner. There'll be no doubts this time. No doubts then. Carl Hammond gets the try. Goulding created it with a beautiful delayed pass. And Carl Hammond gets them on their on the tour as well.
Tremendous stuff. Sean McRae, the Saints coach, says that Hammond will become one of the best loose forwards in the game. The combination with Bobby Goulding was outstanding. And full marks also to the Rugby League for changing the rule. They brought the scrum in an extra 5 metres. That gives them space to produce wonderful tries like this. They peeled away from the scrum. Beautiful pass. Through the dummy did Bobby. Hammond says, I'm there. Not only am I there, I am going to finish it. What I started, I finished. Tremendous stuff. No going to the screen on this occasion. Superb run down the blind side.
Superb try from Carl Hammond, and I'll say it again. How are we going to Papua New Guinea, Fiji and New Zealand without him? Goulding to try and add 2 more. It hits the post. Oh, he can't believe that he's got it on the post and not over the bar. St Helens 20, Sheffield Eagles 2. The Saints running riot.
Look how they use the referee. He peel away from the back of the scrum and the referee stands there. Aston goes to him. Bang. Hits the break. Beautiful football. You have to applaud skills like that. They don't come much better.
Well, it's great to watch. 20 points to 2. 26 minutes gone. Broadbent is back and on the field for Sheffield Eagles. Adam Fogarty's gone off to be replaced by Derek McVie for St Helens. This is Dakwitonga. This now is Ian Hughes. Martin and Newlove with the tackling. Little Johnny Lawless on to halfway. Stray pass. Oh, but they did well to get that back, courtesy of Dean Lawford. This now is Anthony Farrell. Good strong run from Farrell. He too is a former England international.
That'll lift their spirits. Good run there by the hooker Lawless.
Great run from Lawless. Halted by Perolini eventually, 10 metres from the line. Chances here then for Sheffield Eagles to calm things down and silence this crowd, but not with passing like that from Broadbent.
He slipped, the big prop forward turning, slipped at the same time, lost control of the football. But a good run though by the hooker Johnny Lawless. Another disappointed player that I feel should have gone on the tour. There you saw the slip from the big prop forward Broadbent. But they need more of that. Good run by Johnny Lawless. The build-up was good also by Farrell.
McVie with that drive. This is Prescott from dummy half. Lawford's all wrapped up. Let's just bring you up to date with the change that Lawton has gone off and Broadbent has returned for Sheffield. This, meanwhile, is Chris Joint. Touch judge has seen something. He's on. Flag waving. Waving the flag like it's Empire Day, the touch judge.
Empire Day? How old are you?
Not as old as you, and you remember it.
Empire Day. Well, Hughes was involved in this situation. And I can't see what went on underneath, but something that the touch judge saw. Maybe get a better view on this one. Nice step from Joint, though. Well, Hughes went a little bit high. I can't understand that at all.
This is Perolini now. St Helens anxious to get on with it. Cunningham dummy half. Hammond. Lovely reverse pass to Martin. Oh, beautiful hands! And that's a try for Hammond. Quick hands from St Helens. Carl Hammond gets his second in quick succession. Oh, they're electric tonight. There's a debate.
I think it was a forward pass. The first pass, not the last one.
Well, the referee looks like he's going to the spot, and he gives a try.
Well,
just a moment of doubt.
I thought the combination pass that involved Tommy Martin. Here's a flip ball. And I think, oh, it was so close. Line ball. They've got away with it. But what a lovely pass out wide. Well, we mentioned that the Saints coach Sean McRae said that Carl Hammond would fit into the forwards, at loose forward, so well. This speaks volumes. Good support play, keeping the ball alive. Mouth guard out, 4 points added.
He's ever present in Super League, Carl Hammond. This is his third start at loose forward. The position that Sean McRae believes might be a permanent home. 2 tries. Goulding with the conversion attempt. Goulding with the extra 2. 26 points to 2.
2 men go for 1, and when the flick pass goes back on the inside, good work, keeping it all alive. And well finished too. It was a line ball situation, but they got away with it.
Goulding going for the shallow kickoff, and Keith Senior did well. Great tackling from Goulding.
They're up for it, aren't they?
And that was Danny McAllister, who's just on. Oh, they're steaming into the tackle, St Helens. They're on the march, aren't they?
Well, this Eagles side have been hit with everything but the kitchen sink, and that'll be the knock-on. Tommy Martin, Newlove involved.
Yeah,
They'll play the first knock-on. Hughes it was.
Newlove with a ferocious tackle on Ian Hughes.
10-ton truck there, the shoulder. Soon as he impacts, the ball comes out of Hughes. Bang, look at that. Tommy Martin had not joined the party. That's why it's head and ball to the Saints. Hughes being deemed to knock on. And with a tackle like that, it's not surprising.
Double substitution by Gary Hetherington. He has to do something, because at the moment, Sheffield Eagles are in danger of being swamped.
Full credit to this Saints outfit. They're running the angles, they're doing the runarounds, they're enjoying themselves out there. But the combination, the back 3 and the 2 halfbacks, they are having a field day. Hammond, Goulding and Tommy Martin, they're running the show.
McVie takes the tackle from McAllister. Sullivan, Martin, long ball. Here's Hammond again. Short pass to Perolini. This overworked Sheffield Eagles defence. And what's more, lying on in the tackle by Dean Lawford, penalty.
Well, I think it was all desperation there. They just had to hold him down because they were trying to get their breath back. They've been hit by a whirlwind. 26-2. Far too late, releasing the man. Lawford, one of the men deemed to be holding down by referee Russell Smith. They just do not know what to do.
Goulding knows what to do, even though the gap is 24 points at the moment. He knows that they may as well have another 2 here. 7 minutes away from half-time. Goulding with this penalty then. And Bobby Goulding stretches the lead still further. The packed terraces at Knowsley Road believe that St Helens are going to win this title, and there will be few who could deny them that at the moment. They're playing with such confidence. They're playing with the confidence of champions, Steve-O.
Very much so. Most impressed by that effort, mainly due to the fact that the way that they are sharing the work, not only in defence, but different people are popping up in the dummy half situation. Normally they leave it all to Cunningham, but there's been Bobby thrown in there. Even some of the forwards have got involved. Hunt, Newlove, Carl Hammond. It really is confusing, this Eagles defence.
Ian Hughes with the drive for Sheffield up to the halfway line. Tackled by Perolini and Martin. This is Lawless. Good ball. Stott. Linton Stott. Weaving run. Got past 3. Couldn't get past the next man in, who was Chris Morley. Last tackle here for Sheffield. And this is Ryan Sheridan. My, how they have missed Ryan Sheridan this season. Prescott sweeps up for the Saints. Now Joey Hayes.
Good positioning though by the fullback Steve Prescott. He's had a fine season. So is this guy, Cunningham. But there we see the winger coming in the dummy half situation. Oh, there's a swinging arm by McAllister. Bobby looks up at him ruefully.
Hammond to McVie. The Sheffield Eagles defence must feel like they have been hit by a truck. Newlove, midway inside the Eagles' half. They've made 16 missed tackles, crucially, Sheffield Eagles. High kick. Martin's after this. Martin gets it and gets the try. Oh, it's Stevie Prescott. Steve Prescott shot out of the line, and he saw the bomb was coming from Goulding, and the fullback soared above the Sheffield Eagles defence and touched it down. Tremendous play from St Helens. What a combination.
There's no fluke about this one. Bobby Goulding sets it up, and look how Prescott sets off. Like a demented hare, bang, straight up. Takes it superbly. The strength gets him over. There's no fluke. This is a planned move. They practice this all the time at the training ground. Eyes on the football. He jumps at the right time. He beats Aston. Dakwatonga can do nothing about it. There's only one man going to take possession of the football, and that is one Steve Prescott. Sullivan went bananas, and why not? They are running hot. Excellent stuff.
Second try for Prescott. Goulding created it with a towering bomb, and Goulding just slants the conversion over the top of that bar. 34 points to 2. It's turning into a nightmare for Sheffield.
Goulding's the one that circled. Perfect timing. Watch him go. Eyes on the football. You could have put a brick wall there. He would not have cared. He put his body on the line and was rewarded.
Goulding then restarts. How Sheffield Eagles must be longing for the sanctuary of their dressing room.
Swinging arm from McVeigh. Spotted by Russell Smith, who added a little bit of a talk to the Australian on the way through. Just a little one.
Now McAllister will run the ball up into the chest of Newlove. McAllister, I can tell you, not playing 100% fit. One of the 8 who is carrying injuries in the Sheffield Eagles camp. But as Gary Hetherington said earlier on today, he's probably the one who is the least injured of the 8. This now is Lawless from dummy half, and Ryan Sheridan. Anthony Farrell takes over.
It just seems an age that the Sheffield Eagles were in the Saints' half.
Lawford running the angle. Little chip over the top, and he gets it back too. That's good play. That's tremendous play from Dean Lawford, but good defence from Cunningham, Prescott and co.
He's lost it. Or has he got injured? Well, there's a neat chip over by the standoff, Dean Lawford. They really have missed him, Sheffield, and good to see him back. Certainly got a great future. Did well there as well, under the attention of Carl Hammond. And I think he gets spun around by Cunningham, and the leg goes underneath him. Oh, he gets a knee off Hammond. That's what it is. A real collision course then.
Just checking where he is. Looking for an envelope to find out who he is. And Dean Lawford took a bang on the side of the head, and good round of applause from the St Helens crowd, because it looks like Lawford can continue, but he felt that.
He's a tough little customer, though.
Carl Hammond's knee isn't soft. Prescott gets away from Farrell. Can't get away, though, from the next man in, Ian Hughes. There's Tommy Martin, the dummy half. McVie drives the ball up this near side. Sullivan to Martin. Goulding misses out Hammond and finds Perolini. Quick hands from Perolini to Alan Hunt. And Hunt's on his way. He has support from Sullivan. Well, it's great to watch. Goulding again. Ball back on the inside to Martin. Martin to Sullivan. Again, he takes the tackle. They're running mesmerising angles. Playing this game at such speed.
Did well there, McAllister. He's in the sweeping role. The ball bounced through to him. Well, they really have just been rough and tough, this Saints outfit. They've taken it up to the Sheffield Eagles. And the defence has been outstanding. It really has been a great team effort by the Saints. Worked hard for each other, both in attack and defence.
Garcia does well. Looks like Lawford is A-OK after that bang on the head. Here's Sheridan. Good running from Sheridan. Gets the pass away to McAllister, and the big fella did well to take that solo down. And that was Chris Joint who got in the way of that. The referee says play on. Well, Joint was just meandering back, and the pass hit him. I've seen teams penalised for that.
Well, that's a resulting knock-on. That's where they hit the play on there. But Joint was coming back on the blind side, and the hooker, Johnny Lawless, thought it was one of his own players.
There's the half-time siren, and Sheffield Eagles will be thankful that the half is over, and Sean McRae knows that the job is nearly completed already. Chatting to Mike Gregory, his assistant coach here at Knowsley Road, former Great Britain international captain, and Bobby Goulding, the Saints captain, and Carl Hammond, certainly stars with Steve Prescott of this first 40 minutes. Sean McRae is on the verge of the championship, on the verge of leading his side to the double for the first time at Knowsley Road in 30 years.
Fire up the grill, boys. Barbecue time.
The West just got a little wilder.
Yeah.
Tonight at 10.
Keep it steady.
Kim Basinger, Alec Baldwin, The Getaway, New West, tonight at 10 on the Movie Channel.
When we bought this house,
Jim's advice was really helpful.
and when we had the twins,
Jim helped us to work things out.
Jim's a vital part of this community. He's not a doctor or a teacher. Actually, he's an insurance man.
What makes me different is I work for Royal London. I come from round here, so I know these people really well. And because I know them better, I can advise them better, which is why I've got a few satisfied customers.
Royal London, on hand for a lifetime's insurance needs.
Clean and fresh and clean and spotless.
Spots. Oxycutin with Oxysensitive. Designed not to be so tough for more sensitive types.
Can seriously damaged hair ever look this healthy? It can, even if it's so weak it breaks. With Pantene Strengthening Serum. Spray it on.
Provitamin B5 penetrates as fortifying ingredients strengthen and build new structure all the way to the tip.
My hair is strong and shines again.
Pantene Intensive Strengthening Serum for hair that looks so healthy it shines.
There is a way back to strong, healthy-looking hair.
An oil filter is like a goalkeeper. The more it saves, the better it is. And that's why you should always choose a Unipart filter.
When Britain's greatest goalie was reduced to this, comedy shows really had to cheer you up. The August Comedy Festival. Over 200 hours of laughter exclusively on UK Gold. Prime time, all the time.
Heineken Export was first introduced to Italy in 1933, where it's had a huge following ever since.
Perché le vacanze di Alfredo sono sempre così?
Smooth-tasting Heineken Export, the world's favorite import.
Points to 2 at half-time at Knowsley Road. Sullivan 2, Hammond 2, Prescott 2. They've come in twos, the 6 tries, and Goulding has hit 5 goals. Just the 1 goal from Mark Aston for Sheffield Eagles. Well, if this was a night that St Helens were going to prove to 1 or 2 doubting Thomases that they aren't worthy champions or wouldn't be worthy champions, I think they have silenced a few critics. And by the looks of things at the moment, they're going to go top of the table again. They're going to leapfrog Wigan, whose coach, Graham West, has joined us on the programme this evening. And alongside him is the Super League trophy, which either Graham or Sean McRae, the St Helens coach, will have in the boardroom come the end of the season. Graham, you can only be impressed with the way the Saints have played, even though I know they are your bitter rivals.
Oh, they've played very well. They've caught Sheffield on the outside a number of times. They've caught them around the middle a number of times. They've scored some great tries, and they're really on top of their game. I think the only thing that Sheffield can really do now is try and play their 6 out and really get their defence right. They seem to be at 6s and 7s. They're coming out of the line, they're leaving gaps, and St Helens are running riot.
They got a great start, didn't they, when Sovatabua was left stood standing and Sullivan was right round the outside of him.
I think he got caught twice. Sullivan scored 2 tries, and I think both times Sovatabua got caught in no man's land.
Very difficult for a team like Sheffield Eagles to stop a side like St Helens, who are obviously on a roll.
Well, they certainly are. They're playing very well, and when you look at their subs bench, they've even got players that can turn the game to come on, like Metaltia, McVeigh. They'll come on and be able to unload the ball when Sheffield get tired and even create more havoc. So, you know, they're really on top of their form.
Dare I say it, it's a little bit like the old days at Wigan.
Well, let's hope we can say it's like the future at Wigan.
Absolutely. That was a nice, totally honest answer from the man, the big man. And Steve-O, you've got to take your hat off to this St Helens side.
Well, we said before the game, didn't we, that this was a day that they had to stand up and be counted. Well, they have. 40 minutes of sheer excellence as far as I'm concerned. I mean, 3 tries disallowed by the electronic media. And it was a situation where we've often said that they do sometimes go to sleep. Well, for 40 minutes, they haven't. Very few mistakes. They've shared the workload. The forwards haven't got in the way. When the link is on, we've used Goulding and Martin, and of course we've seen Hammond playing at loose forward. That trio really has just blitzed the Sheffield Eagles. As Graham said, the defence from the Eagles, they're moving up, but they're not moving up in one straight line, and that is their biggest problem. As soon as you get one man come out of the line, it gives a different angle, widens the gap, and of course they've got too many players out there, St Helens, to make use of it. Hammond, short ball, Joint, Goulding, they are very, very skillful players, and they're making the Eagles pay for it.
We wondered, didn't we, at the start of the evening about the nerves, but the nerves were well and truly sorted very early on in the piece with Sullivan's try.
I think this is where I've got to take my hat off to their coach, Sean McRae, because the situation whereby they wanted to get the ball out wide, they were eager not to make a forward battle of it. But this is just sheer skill, isn't it? He threw the little dummy, little shimmy, and it's great to see Sullivan back in top form. But it's all about the different tactics. But this was the best try of the first half. How they peel away. You can see how they use the scrum. The referee stands on that blind side. Full credit for changing the rules, because we never would see anything like that on the blind side before they took another 5 metres infield. And it's great to see. Hammond, the man that started it, picked it off at the base of the scrum. What a fine game he's having. Probably the best game I've seen Carl Hammond play for many a day. And he hasn't had a bad one all through this season.
No, he's played very well. There are 1 or 2 people, and I think you and I are amongst them, who are just questioning why he's not in the Lions tour party. Because Carl Hammond, Graham, is a player who can cover centre, stand off, and loose forward where he's playing tonight.
I think he's been a great buy for St Helens. He's come in, played standoff, and really settled things down. Now he's gone to loose forward. He's really got the team buzzing. He's been a great buy.
and you were back now at 34-2, Saints to go on and win this one.
Well, I think you've got to.
You'd even back it with Steve-O's money.
Yeah, they're really flying high. They're backing up well. They're running the angles. Bobby's getting the ball out wide. Perolini around the middle's running very strong. They've got to go on to quite a few points yet, I think.
What a pity you're not here on August Bank Holiday Monday and you've had to leave it to Warrington to do the job for you, eh?
Well, these things happen.
Well, let's take a look at how the Super League has shaped up so far this weekend. Warrington 42, Oldham 24. That match was played on Friday. Castleford 28, Paris 18 on Saturday, as was London 13, Wigan 34. Today, Bradford 26, Halifax 27. What a match that must have been, and that game has just finished. Earlier, we had Leeds 68, Workington 28, which means that Workington are relegated at the end of this season. They cannot catch Paris Saint-Germain now. And half-time here at Knowsley Road, St Helens 34, Sheffield Eagles 2. So it's settled at the bottom of the table. Workington will drop out to be replaced by Salford. What's going to happen at the top? I think we can safely say that St Helens are on their way to 2 points here. But then it's all down to the last weekend of the season. But St Helens are playing champagne stuff, and they are looking like potential champions. A wonderful first half, crowned by this fellow, Carl Hammond.
Littlewood's Pools get a result.
Hi, love. Sorry, love. Duty calls.
See the car?
Almira.
GTI. Let's go!
Cover me! Huh?
Go faster. I'm doing nearly 30.
Naughty boy. Turn left.
Why?
Litter. Makes the car look good.
Time do you call this? Sorry, Gov. Traffic was murder.
Never make professionals. Neither were they. The election, Almira.
Tell me about it.
New Chappie, with its fish, white meat and cereals, has everything to keep a dog really healthy. Chappie! Here, boy, come on.
He's got a ball.
Go on, Chappie, fetch.
Right, here we go then. Now then, which one this time?
Oh, well done, Chappie, well done.
You have been.
Our man has been working day and night to clean his windows. He just can't get rid of those streaks. So we gave him Mr. Muscle Window Cleaner. It's specially formulated with added vinegar for a streak-free shine on all glass surfaces. Mr. Muscle loves the jobs you hate.
In 1980, tickets for the Russian ballet were in great demand. But the ballet wasn't the main attraction. Making its Moscow debut was the smooth taste of Heineken Export. Heineken Export, the world's favorite import.
It's a big month for sport in September. Glenn Hoddle takes England to Moldova at the start of a new World Cup campaign. The Super League closes with the Premiership final. New seasons begin for British basketball and ice hockey. And the Coca-Cola Cup really gets going in England and Scotland.
It makes me feel so good.
See the USA defend the President's Cup against Norman & Co. while the women meet Europe in the Solheim Cup. That's just a glimpse at the September fixtures on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to Knowsley Road, where St Helens have a 34 points to 2 advantage at the start of this second half. They have lost just twice away from home against Wigan and Bradford. 9 wins from 9 here at Knowsley Road. I think they're going to make it 10 out of 10. And then August Bank Holiday Monday, it's Warrington who are due here for what now looks like being the title decider. Steve Prescott has had a great first half, has had a great season. Saints Warrington, don't forget, live from Knowsley Road here, August Bank Holiday Monday. That's a week tomorrow for Saints and Warrington, 1:30 kickoff. So, Sheffield Eagles with the proverbial mountain to climb at the start of the second half of this Stone Super League clash between Saints and the Eagles. 34 points to 2. And the kickoff. Did it go out on the full? That's the decision. No, it got a touch. The referee will put the scrum down and it will be head and feed to St Helens.
Nice option there by Mark Aston. Trying to get to it, and well, did he get a fingertip to that? According to the touch judge, he did. Well, more of the same. I'm sure that's what Sean McRae would have said to the Saints players. Keep it moving, good support play.
McVie with a great run. He brushes away from Dakwitonga. Down the side he goes, tosses the ball back in field, and the Eagles have got the ball back. But there's some debate. The referee's putting the scrum down, and it's head and feed to the Eagles. But what a run from McVie.
Tremendous stuff. The Australian loves nothing better than to run out wide. But again, we saw very poor attempted defence by the Sheffield Eagles. On occasion, they're going far too high. Big Australian second row, you've got to go low. They failed to do that.
This now is Keith Senior, and he gets a good ball away to Garcia, and Garcia off down the touchline, but a great tackle by Andy Haig on for Paul Newlove. They're just resting Newlove apparently. A recurrence of his old problem. This is Sheridan. The old problem with the ankle for Paul Newlove.
Good play by the Eagles. Good work by Senior, sent Garcia away.
Went without the ball, but they've got a penalty, the Eagles. Offside.
He allowed the advantage at referee Russell Smith. Well, that's the best passage of play that we've seen from the Sheffield side tonight. They really did support. It was a beautiful pass by Senior that sent Jean-Marc Garcia away.
But eventually the ball will come back for the penalty. Lawford finds touch. No point, obviously, at 34-2 for the Eagles to kick for goal. So they will run this penalty. And here they go now with Ian Hughes. Halted by Cunningham and Joint.
Never played that correctly.
Penalty to St Helens.
He'll go to the touch judge just to qualify. Was there interference while Hughes was attempting to play the football? I think there might have been a little fingertip from Cunningham. Yes, for mine. Well, not playing the football correctly. There's a decision given. That's why the penalty goes to the Saints. Well, they've got away with a few of those of Saints. Lady Luck certainly has been on their side. I'm not saying that that is the reason why you've got a scoreline of 34-2. He's got to be offside.
Moving off the mark. Paul Carr penalised.
Not too happy about it either. Hold your words, son. Otherwise, Mr. Smith will show you who's the boss. That was a poor attempt, though. Saints have failed to find touch with a penalty kick.
So Sheffield have the ball back with Lawless. The ball comes free again, and it's a penalty to Sheffield Eagles. Well, it's A scrappy opening 4 minutes to this second half.
You can see 2 men in attendance. Sullivan dragging the football out. 2-on-1, not allowed. Only 1-on-1. Can you steal the football or knock it away from the ball carrier?
Now Aston. And he gets the ball infield to Carr. Andy Haig's after him. Gets the ball away though to Aston again, and Haig had got up off the grounded player and completed the next tackle too. Broadbent. Back to Aston. Away from Haig, but not away from the next man. Carl Hammond. Lawless dummy half. Sheridan and Lawford. On the burst was Farrell. The ball bouncing round. First knock on.
That'll be play on.
It is.
They had the opportunity there. Farrell couldn't take it in. Cunningham gets it. It was reefed away, so it's play on. 1-on-1, as we were mentioning earlier. Well, scrappy start to the second 40 minutes. Oh, and I think Broadbent had a little bit of a shuffle. And I think Tommy Martin went for the Academy Award then.
Quick penalty by Sheffield Eagles. This is Lawless. Tremendous tackle by Perolini.
Let's get back to the football, boys.
Aston. Lawford takes over again. Through the gap, Lawford. Hammond's after him. Ball drops. Picked up by Carr. Penalty Sheffield Eagles again. Well, the penalty counts mounting against St Helens. Start of this second half. Ball obviously stolen in more than a one-man tackle. Not allowed. Aston. Martin shot out of the line and collared him with help from Morley.
Good work there by Martin. Picked his man and took him.
Well, the Eagles are playing now for pride. They've just stepped up a gear. I'm sure they've got some cruel words from Gary Hetherington ringing in their ears after that first half. They're keeping the ball alive well, though. Mrs. Hughes finds Carr. This is Aston, and now Senior. Senior dumps the ball for Garcia, and Garcia couldn't get the pass in.
Well, I'm not surprised it wasn't the best pass by the big youngster, Senior. You threw the dummy, sucked in Joey Hayes, and it was going forward all the time, basketball stuff. But to reach forward, it was a forward pass anyway for mine. Yeah, a yard forward perhaps. Bombed opportunity. Couldn't blame the Frenchman, Garcia. Blame him.
Well, Sheffield Eagles have had just one away win all year at Workington, now relegated. 9 wins and 2 defeats against St Helens and Wigan at home. St Helens game, though, was in South Wales, you may remember, and Wigan was at Bramall Lane. So they've remained unbeaten at Don Valley this season, but they have suffered a dreadful bout of travel sickness. Garcia did well. He intercepted Goulding's pass. Still Garcia. Little ankle tap from Martin was critical, and Martin comes back and takes him second attempt.
Did well. Garcia was well and truly away. Just clipped his ankles. It wasn't the best pass from Bobby Goulding. It was going forward anyway, and Garcia picked it off.
Sheridan. The call was from McAllister. Well, almost 8 minutes of this second half gone, and St Helens have not yet scored a try, and I suppose, Steve-O, Sheffield Eagles, the way they're playing, will regard that as something of a victory.
Well, they'll have to. It's probably the longest time that they've had possession.
And it's overwhelmingly in their favour, but Goulding's picked up the loose ball.
Too smart, Bobby Goulding, though. He went to ground. He knows he's not going to mess around. Well, that was silly of Bobby Goulding. He lost control. There's no good, Bobby, looking at the referee. You're not in charge, mate.
Well, he's got the penalty.
Well, he shouldn't have, because he lost control and the marbles there. Farrell was coming from an offside situation. Well...
Well, surely we're not going to have the flat beer after the first half champagne.
Find the court quickly. Start all over again. Tommy Martin taking his eyes off the football. He knew what gear he wanted. Missed the clutch badly. Well, this is a situation, and Lawless and Farrell was coming from an offside position.
Here's Prescott for a hat-trick. Prescott spectacularly gets the hat-trick. He was set up by Martin, who joins in the celebrations. And Steve Prescott, that was probably the best tackle he's had on him all evening. Prescott's hat-trick and his 10th Super League try. The champagne comes back to St Helens play.
That's what was needed. Very rare that they make a mistake here, but you can see that Farrell lost it. Martin picks it up. Beautiful positioning by the fullback, Steve Prescott. That's been one of the highlights of this Super League season for mine. The fullback, Steve Prescott's positioning, both in attack and defence. He knows when to chime through. It was a perfectly weighted pass by Tommy Martin. He'll be happy. What a great season.
Spectacular stuff from Steve Prescott. His second hat-trick in St Helens colours, his first in the league. Goulding from bang in front adds the extras. 40 points to 2.
Well, it needed it, didn't it, this half? It was very scrappy, but Farrell made a big mistake. Good hit there. Ball pops out. Good support. Dives over the line. Dramatic stuff.
Yes, it was a spectacular finish. And that isn't spectacular from Lawford. He missed the kick-off completely. And the Eagles will drop out from underneath their own posts.
Going from bad to worse are the Eagles.
Well, they had the 10-minute spell, Steve, where they knocked Saints out of their rhythm, picked up the pace. Now they're back to normal.
The feathers have been ruffled. They were hit with a 10-ton truck in the first half. Possession was vital for them in the second. They got off to a good start, but the Saints, will they have shaken it off? Not with a pass like that.
Well, Morley will try and keep it going to Hammond. He has got support out wide from Haig. And
Haig wanted Hayes to come back on the inside. Surprised me that the winger didn't.
Perolini up the middle. Wrestle to the floor.
Watch for Bobby. Will he run the angle? Bring someone back on the inside.
Takes the 1-2, applies the brakes. On one knee, gives it to McVie. Hunt, the dummy half, and going on his own. Out wide then to Sullivan. Sullivan back to Cunningham. That bounce backwards. It's play on. Goulding through an outrageous dummy. Goulding. Oh, he drops it. So close to another try, and it was Chris Joint, I think. It's the knock on.
Tremendous dummy. It was an outrageous one from Bobby Goulding, and the pass was superb. And Chris Joint was already kicking the conversion. That's the only reason why he drops this one. The size of the line was there. He cannot believe it. Neither can Martin. What a dummy and a step. Farrell went for it. Perfect. Couldn't drag it in. Just had to reach back slightly. But he should have taken that, Chris Joint. But they got the penalty anyway.
Well, the penalty to St Helens. Dak Witonga apparently swung a bit of a punch. And so that's why Saints are in possession rather than us going to a scrum down. This is Perolini. Good tackling by Broadbent. Perolini couldn't go without the legs. St Helens swarming forward. Hammond almost reached out. Oops. Well, he delayed, didn't he, playing the ball. This is Martin, back on the inside to Morley. Oh, and he's got to be offside. Paul Carr.
He'll go in the sin bin for this, Carr. He never made any attempt to get out of the way.
Yes, he's on his way. Doesn't help. Doesn't help the cause. Stood in an offside position and just dropped on the ball. Oh, well.
You couldn't have made it any worse, could you?
St Helens with Hammond, who gets the try, and that's his hat-trick. Big smile from Carl Hammond. Hat-trick for him. Smiles on the terraces. St Helens are doing their points difference a power of good here if it's going to be needed.
Well, the Animals came in 2 by 2, but the Saints are going 3 by 3. Tremendous stuff through the dummy, and not for the first time the Sheffield Eagles defence is all at sea. They failed to move up. Upper body strength from this man. What a fine game. Carl Hammond, he stamped his authority on the match very early. Threw an outrageous dummy again. He's in. Second hat-trick. I'm sure there's more to come.
And it's his second hat-trick of his St Helens career, Carl Hammond, and the second hat-trick for the St Helens team tonight. Stevie Prescott's got the other. Goulding's tagged on another couple of points. And this big Knowsley Road crowd are in celebratory mood now. Off comes Perolini and Chris Joint to tremendous applause. On comes Ian Pickavance. Goulding restarts.
Nice to see Pickavance come on. One of the unsung heroes of this Saints outfit. He works hard both in attack and defence. He's been one of their key players this season.
Fogarty has also returned, by the way. Tremendous cheers, though, for Perolini and Joint as they left the scene. And Sean McRae, I think, now wisely using his substitutes and guarding his players. New love amongst them for the challenge that lies ahead on Bank Holiday Monday. Darren Turner with that run. Here's McAllister playing purely now for consolation, Sheffield Eagles. St Helens playing for a bigger prize.
Forward pass from Aston to the big prop forward, Broadbent. The timing was all wrong. The idea was good, but Broadbent was well and truly going too early. The anguished look on the face of Mark Aston. He knows that he should not have released it.
So the scrum will go down and St Helens will have head and feed. And 1996 has been a vintage year for St Helens. They've lost just 2 of 25 League and Cup matches before this one. And the kick downfield, there's only Sullivan after it. Sullivan's going to get his. Next try, he's left it for Hunt. Alan Hunt gets the try. That's unselfish by Sullivan. Sullivan left it to Alan Hunt. And Sullivan was on a... But oh dear, offside. The referee's not given it, he's offside. That must have been why Sullivan checked and allowed it to go to Hunt.
Well, it was a beautiful kick. Tommy Martin, oh, not much in it. Half an inch, if that. But once again, the Saints using the blind side. Sullivan right on the outside. He was about a yard in front.
But Hunt wasn't.
Well, that's the reason why they left it.
But Sullivan was within 10 metres of the ball.
They tried to get away with it. Quick thinking on their part, to be fair.
Sullivan should have stopped and run away.
Didn't matter. He tried to do it. Yeah. It's obvious that the referee, Russell Smith, must have shouted out and said, "Winger, you're offside." Didn't get away with it. But it's nice to see a tactic like that. In this modern day, the full-back does not stand back. He lines up in a one line. Good play by Aston.
That's super play. Senior, the ball has bounced, but Hayes was there to hack the ball dead. Aston with quick hands, and those quick hands just before it too.
Good play. It's on the last. Had nothing to lose in keeping it away. Came off his knee. It wasn't the best directed kick, and then you could see that it was a knock on, so therefore on the last, the turnover.
But McAllister and Aston then with super quick hands by Sheffield Eagles.
Been a lot better display by the Eagles in the second half. But again, they've had problems in their defensive pattern.
Now Pickavance. Gets the ball away to Cunningham. Cunningham drops it.
Was it a 2-on-1? No,
knock on.
As far as this is concerned. Cunningham asks the question. Did he arrive at the time? Sheridan rips it out. Yeah, just in time. Broadbent had not made contact. Good refereeing, Russell Smith. Ball's coming clear before Broadbent touches.
Lawford with the short ball to Stott. And this is Dakwitonga now. The Fijian winger. Played 5 of the last 6. But stood up in the first half for a couple of the tackles, but a couple of the tries. But what a tackle that was from Cunningham. Oh, Johnny Lawless felt that.
It was always going to be a battle royal, wasn't it, between Cunningham and Lawless. Cunningham on the tour, Lawless missed out. Beautiful tackle. Used the shoulder to great effect. Swinging arm. The ball carrier. There you see it. The elbow. Swinging arm into Pickavance. Penalty goes to Saints. Well, he's on the ball tonight, is the referee, Russell Smith. Little doubt about it. Right into the neck of Pickavance.
So approaching three-quarter time at Knowsley Road, 46-2. Little to choose on the penalty count, 10-9 in St Helens' favour. Referee's been pretty even, Stephen. Goulding brings Pickavance onto the ball. And there was a little right hook there as Pickavance was on the deck. And it was Lawton again.
Just got his own back there. He didn't connect. He hit the chest and then brought the elbow down.
And Lawton was the man who was penalised for the use of the elbow earlier.
Just losing his cool a little bit. Been a frustrating day for them. There you see it. And followed it through. Hit the chest, didn't hit the face. Either way, intent was there. Calm things down, says Russell Smith.
Saints running it with McVie. Now Cunningham.
Well, Saints have gone into their shell mainly because it's a lot of individual play rather than getting the ball out wide. We saw how effective it was, the combination of Tommy Martin and Bobby Goulding getting the link. But I'm afraid there's far too many players out there wanting to score tries rather than play as a team.
This is Cunningham. Oh, he drops it. Referee's going to go for the screen, I think, and hand it on to the video ref. Yes, he is. Well, my immediate reaction was that Cunningham dropped that.
Did he get downward pressure? He wants to make sure. Why not? We can slow things down.
But I've seen them given for that, and I've seen them disallowed for that.
You want your 2 bob back, don't you?
I do. I don't know which way to go, though, in the bet. I tell you what, I'll take a try.
Not on the fence, eh?
I've lost my money.
4 bob you owe me. Well, they all booed when referee Russell Smith went for the big screen.
Excuse me.
Proven right.
Excuse me, by the way, you picked me up on the Empire Day. What's 4 bob? Go on.
No, you got me. £158.50. How's that?
I thought it wouldn't be the truth. Lawless takes the tackle. Broadbent. Sheridan. And he helps it wide to Lawford. Good defence from St Helens. Darren Turner. Well, St Helens don't want to concede much, do they? They know that Wigan have got this huge points difference in their favour, and they play relegated Workington Town on Saturday. Well done, Hammond. He gets it to Joey Hayes. It's a race now for Hayes. Lawless. Oh, that's a tremendous ball from Hayes. And Andy Haig gets another. Well, Joey Hayes has come back to the Super League 8 games ago. And he has lost none of his flair, his anticipation and his vision. He heard down the wing, he knew he couldn't make it himself, and he got the call from Haig, who got the 4 and brought the smile from Goulding.
Good refereeing too, because when the kick came over the top, you can see that Aston was offside. Referee Smith says get back. That's why Aston didn't get involved. It went back. Good work by Carl Hammond. See how the ball goes back on the inside. Neat pass. Joey Hayes commits him. Lawless did well to get into that position. Look at the determination there. Andy Hay. They did well, did Senior, to get it back in the first place. But Hammond picks it out. See how he commits the hooker. As soon as he dips, back on the inside. Tremendous timing, good support play. Andy Hay, great stuff. Graham West mentioned at half-time. St. Helens, they really do have a great substitutes bench. We keep saying it, it's not just 13, it's 17 these days.
It's 2 for Goulding, 2 more for Saints. They are beyond the 50-point mark. 52 points to 2. Well, tremendous display from St. Helens, but I know one man inside Knowsley Road who will be bitterly disappointed, and that's Gary Hetherington, the Sheffield Eagles coach.
Well, he knows that they've been blitzed, and he knows that their defensive pattern really has not been spot on. They look completely lost in the first half, apart from about 8 or 10 minutes after the restart, which was their best passage of play by the Eagles. They really have been completely outplayed, outthought.
And without making too many excuses, they have got a bundle of players out injured, and players playing out there tonight carrying injuries. But Hammond, look at this determination from him.
Well, if he doesn't win the Man of the Match award, I don't know when he will.
And he's getting close to his average tackles per game of 22. He's now on 15. And I know he's had a wonderful season, but he looks to me as though the fact that he hasn't been picked for the tour by Phil Larder has really rattled his cage. Oh, Hunt! Here's another one who isn't making it. He's in the shadow squad. And they only showed a shadow then to Garcia. And he touches down. Look at the smiles. Look at the celebrations. St. Helens know that history beckons them.
It may be history, but come on, boys, we can do without that kissing bit. Dearie me. Where's it all going to end, this stuff? Excellent football. Martin threw the dummy. They held off. Dean Lawford, look at him go. The players raise their arms and their fists. Bobby Goulding follows through. Tommy Martin, see how we used the dummy runner there. Not the best defence again, I'm afraid. They went far too high. Good balance running there. Hunt planks it down. He wants the accolade from the crowd. And what's he going to get? Uh-oh. No, don't, Bobby. Please don't, Bobby. Oh.
Goulding adds 2 more. 58 points to 2. Brilliant. They're in great form.
Look at those thighs. Look at the balance running. Swinging of the arm. Olympic Games stuff. What a wonderful athlete. What a great try. Plonks it down. I won't say much about that.
Bobby Goulding leading the celebrations, getting the 2 extra points, 58 points to 2. You are an old fuddy-duddy at times, by the way.
Would you kiss one of those blokes?
I wouldn't kiss you.
Thank God for that.
Here's Paul Carr, back out of the sin bin. caught in possession on the last tackle.
They're still eager, Saints. And that 2 points for Sheffield. And Saints will want to make sure that they don't post a try against them. Sullivan, will he get his three?
Yes, he will. The corner flag went down. Quick word with the touch judge. He's gone for the screen. They're not impressed with Russell Smith, but he has to go if there's any doubt. He has to hand it on to the video ref. Now then.
He plonks it down before he gets there. Yes. They will hail technology on this point. In and out, though. It had to be scored. That is a great try. He plonks it down, and when it comes up on the screen, TRY. Listen to the crowd. They'll go bananas.
Anthony Sullivan looking, everyone in the crowd looking. There you go. And now he draws the applause, because that's his hat-trick. And what a way to score a hat-trick.
High shot shows you the skills out wide. Beautiful pass there from Hunt. He had the speed, but look at the little shimmy in and out. Reaches out to it. Wonderful stuff. Superb athletes, Super League, full-time professionalism. It brings out the best, and you're seeing it here live. What a night for the Saints.
9 from 11 for Goulding. Misses. And they boo him. They're in the mood to have fun, the St Helens supporters. The 20th try hat-trick of Anthony Sullivan's career. The second try hat-trick for Anthony Sullivan in Super League.
What a beautiful pass it was. Well weighted by Alan Hunt. Sucked in the defence. Watch the shimmy. Oh, the balance is outstanding. The finish is equal.
And the conversion shaved the upright. Well, they are making some din at Knowsley Road. They have waited 21 years for this. They haven't got it yet, but they are now 92 minutes away. 12 minutes here and 80 minutes on August Bank Holiday Monday, and a performance like this again, and the St Helens side will be champions of the Super League.
And what a great tackle there from Pickervance. He just crunched it. Well, Lawless has tried hard, and so has the captain Broadbent.
Well, they're having a great time on the terraces, and I'm sure that everyone watching at home has had a great time this summer.
Offside Saints. He allowed the advantage, despite the fact that Aston made a real meal of it.
He takes a quick tap penalty. This is Sheridan. Just lost his footing, and there's another penalty because Joint wasn't back the full 10 metres. Play on with Carr. Carr going for the line. They're 62-2 up, but look at that defence. He's been pushed back 12 metres. Incredible stuff from St Helens. Eagles will try again. That was Lawford, hauled down by Fogarty. This is Anthony Farrell, held up by Goulding and Pickervance.
5 players involved there. That just shows you the effort that they put in tonight.
Oh, and Sullivan's picked it up again. Sullivan's on his way. He looks round to see if the referee has stopped play. He hasn't. Sullivan's going to get 4. Russell Smith was miles behind. And Sullivan, I think, thought for one awful moment he'd blown the whistle.
He'll go to the touch judge, perhaps.
The referee's not given the try yet. There's a touch judge on this near side.
Was there an incident in back play? Now, Sheffield made a real meal of it. They threw the dummy. Now, was a man taken out just as the ball had been passed? There you see it, Alan Hunt went for the man and there was a little bit of a fracas.
It's no try.
Alan Hunt definitely took the man without the possession of the football, holding the man back. Good touch judging there. Tremendous stuff, and you can see Hunt made a real impact there. Well, it's no good looking there. The touch judge is absolutely correct.
Well, this match has had it all. That's, I think, 4 tries. St Helens have been disallowed. They've scored a bundle.
They could have been going for the ton, the Saints.
They could. Well, what a summer we've had on Sky Sports on Super League. A breathtaking competition, and we are set up now for the biggest weekend in years. And you'll be able to watch it with us all the way through on Sky Sports. This brand new competition.
Broadbent knocked on. Lawless tried to slip the ball to him, but the big skipper just could not take control. It just has not been the Eagles' night.
This is what we've got for you next weekend. Wigan against Workington Town live on Saturday. 5:30 we'll be there. 6 o'clock kickoff. At the Valley, London against Castleford Sunday. 6:30 kickoff 7. And then here to Knowsley Road for a 2 o'clock kickoff for St Helens against Warrington. August Bank Holiday Monday, and they will have the champagne on ice here for what they hope will be their first title in 21 years, their first league and cup double for 30 years. And you'll be able to watch it as you've watched every step of the way with us here on Sky Sports. It has been a wonderful summer. We've gone from Workington to Paris. We've gone from Carcassonne to Castleford. And now we will see the championship lifted on Sky Sports this coming weekend.
Took an age there, Aston, to drop on that football. Joey Hayes applied the pressure. I just get the feeling that the Eagles want this game to finish as quickly as possible. They'll want to just play out the 6, keep possession away from the Saints, who are in rampant form.
But I'm sure that Warrington are watching this and know what they are in for. And don't forget, Warrington might well be having to win here to make it into the top 4 in the Premiership playoffs.
Just an extra teaser to that game. Warrington and the London Broncos fighting for that available 4th spot.
Sheffield fighting for a bit of pride. Turner to the line, but hauled down again. What defence from Prescott. Chance here for Lawless. McVie, that was a 2-man tackle. Oh, the referee has ordered the turnover.
He just lost it. Well, he deserved a try at least. He really has tried hard as Johnny Lawless. Against all the odds, Sullivan's away. Has he got the speed?
He sure has. He's got the step as well. Golding hacks ahead. Prescott's after the 4th. It sits up for him. Oh, that's a try for Prescott. A 4th for Prescott. Tremendous stuff again from St Helens. Super League skills out of the very top draw. I think, and Graham West is our guest tonight, I think the balance of power has turned this summer from Central Park to Knowsley Road. And Sean McRae is the man who has turned St Helens into a team of champions. Can they be stopped? That's the question for Warrington to answer. Prescott's 4th try.
Absolutely breathtaking. Goulding's chip over the top. Prescott, we mentioned earlier about his positional play all through this Super League. Sullivan, who's had a fine game. Beautiful pass on the inside. Senior was closing Goulding down. Inch perfect kick. Pull back. Tremendous. Look at the crowd. They dance with glee. And why not? What a take. What a finish. What a try. The plaudits just keep coming and coming. The smile says it all. We are 82 minutes away from what could be the first Super League champions.
Goulding added the extras. St Helens have 68 points. Sheffield 2. And Goulding, I think, has kicked that kick-off out on the fall. So Sheffield have a penalty on halfway. There's still 5 minutes to go. This party is only just starting. It's going to last 8 days, and if they win next Monday, it'll last for months afterwards till we start again next March.
Well, I hope the party hasn't started, because they've still got another game to go through. Do not count your chickens. Warrington will be no pushover.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Sullivan went for the intercept again.
Offside, though. Getting over eager. And Bobby Goulding is saying to his players, come on, let's keep them out. Do not let them score. This is more important to the coach, Sean McRae, that the Eagles do not get over for a try.
Aston wants a try. Hammond, though, collared him. He was finished off by Joint. This now is Lawton again. Again, 4 men come in and close him down.
Swarming defence all throughout this night.
Now then, little kick through. Ryan Sheridan's after it. Prescott, great defence. 4 tries from Prescott at the other end. Super defence at this.
Sheridan looked to all the world to have scored there, but the boot of Steve Prescott, he knew was caught a little bit short. Rather than dive, stuck out the boot, got there first. What a fine match.
Well, it has been irresistible stuff from the Saints. 68 points to 2.
Not a bad player amongst the Saints outfit. They have all done their job. The game plan has been superb. Early in the match, Sean McRae, don't mix it with the forwards, get it out wide. That's what they did. They blitzed the Eagles.
Ball goes to ground. Lawford gets it back to Farrell. Farrell jinking and turning. He won't pack it in. He wants a try for Sheffield. Just look how determined the Saints are to make sure that he doesn't get it. Lawless. Out wide it goes to Sheridan. Again, strong defence. Well, we make it a couple of minutes early. But that's the full-time siren. The match is all over. And St Helens are on course. They are bang on course. A super display that has had this big crowd at Knowsley Road, and no doubt all you Sky Sports viewers at home absolutely breathless. It has been a mouth-watering display, and it's been coached, of course, by Sean McRae, the man with no emotion on his face, but he's talking now to Alistair Mann.
Sean, you said you were relaxed. The lads have proved that the camp is as well.
Yeah, well, you know, we knew we had to do a big job tonight, and, you know, great support here again, and a lot of things came off for us, but we made the plays well. We were patient with the ball, I thought, in the first half. We defended superbly. The real pleasing thing was they didn't cross our try line, and they probably had a couple of opportunities. It was just desperate scrambling defence. Excellent performance.
What will you be doing in terms of preparation in focusing for next Monday?
Well, nothing different really. I mean, it's been a long season, but all gets down to 80 minutes of football. Great end of the season. Let's hope we can do it again. So it's preparation as usual, be as professional as possible. Obviously check the injury situation, start preparing, and we've got to come out and do the same thing.
How proud are you that it's going to go to the last match and the lads have stuck in all the way through?
Well, I'm happy we're in the position we're in, but I would have liked to have won it tonight to win the trophy. But unfortunately, you know, Wigan had plenty to say about it last night. Performed excellently under pressure, and you know, we know we've got to do the job now, and it's up to us, isn't it? We control that.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Cheers, mate.
A fantastic night at Knowsley Road. Absolutely breathtaking stuff. And this is what we have to come. Wigan against Workington, live on Sky Sports, Saturday, 5:30. Saints against Warrington, live here, Bank Holiday Monday at 1:30. And the table now at the top looks like that. And the gap between points difference has closed significantly here at Knowsley Road. 38 points to 37 points, 1 point in it. It probably won't come down to points difference. They've scored 12 tries. They've had 7 disallowed. This has been a night to remember. Knowsley Road is alive. The champions may be.
I'm going to retire legend, supreme.
I already know that I'm the best fighter Britain's ever produced. I want to go down in history books as Princely St. Mohammed, the best fighter ever lived. I refuse to lose. Refuse to lose.
Nassim Mohammed, Manuel Medina, coming soon, Sky Sports 1.
Must-see blockbuster of the year. A fantastic, mind-blowing, supercharged thrill ride of a movie. Independence Day.
Now Orbit is even more refreshing, even cooler, even fresher. Sugar-free Orbit, now even more refreshing.
All the washing and brushing in the world won't give your dog a good coat if you don't feed him the right food.
Now, I feed pedigree chum, and you can see the reasons why.
This new chicken and sunflower oil is Clifford's favourite.
Thanks to our vets and nutritionists at Waltham, the world's leading authority on pet care and nutrition, everything dogs need for a healthy coat, they get from Pedigree Chum.
It's so full of meat, they love it. At the end of the day, dogs will be dogs, so the coats don't stay immaculate for long.
Pedigree Chum. Top breeders recommend it.
Here is a painkiller that has the extra strength you want, yet is gentle on you and your stomach. Panadol Extra.
Are giving away over £200,000 worth of prizes. Lodge! What you have to do is find a twisty hoop.
Right! No! All the hoops are not round the twist, they're perfectly round, they're staying round and they'll be around forever!
Start twisting, hoop pickers.
If you haven't joined BT's Free Friends and Family scheme, you could miss out on a dream trip. As a member, you get 10% off all the calls you make to your 5 favourite numbers, and if you sign up by the 4th of October, you'll receive a voucher. Like this one, which could save you between 10 and 30% on selected British Airways flights, and you can buy up to 4 tickets. Just ring 0800 05 55 55 now and give BT your 5 numbers, and bon voyage.
68 points to 2. The scoreline really says it all. Prescott with 4. Hat-tricks for Hammond and Sullivan. Haig and Hunt weighed in with a couple. And Goulding kicked 10 goals. They had 7 tries disallowed. They scored a dozen. Mark Aston with the consolation prize. There's no consolation prize as far as that's concerned. That is the piece of silverware that would belong to either St Helens or Wigan by the end of next weekend. We have August Bank Holiday Monday here. We have Wigan on the Saturday, who will no doubt throw down the gauntlet. And we have London against Castleford on the Sunday. Graham West has been our special guest on the programme tonight. And Graham, we thank you for braving the elements to be here, because they've given Steve-O and I some stick out there, and I'm sure they've been giving you a bit of grief as well. But I know it's far too early and you've got another match to go, but are you ready to concede it or not?
No, not really. I think they've got another match to go. Warrington, I can remember at the end of the last season, really took a heavy defeat here. So they'll have something to go for. If London beat Castleford next week, Warrington will have to beat them to get to that fourth spot. So they have something to play for. With the way that they played tonight, it's certainly going to take some doing. Any team that wants to beat them has got to really work well defensively. Tonight, Sheffield were well short, and Warrington next week are going to have to really come out with a good effort in that department. But anything's possible, and we've still got to beat Workington as well. But we hope that Warrington can come and do it.
Well, it must be a long time since you've ever thought that one Alexander James Murphy and John Dorahy might do you a favour.
Well, that's true, but we'll take anything.
I'm sure you will at this point in time. But Steve-O, irresistible. I mean, they were just magnificent tonight, the Saints.
Unbelievable. I mean, apart from, say, 7 or 8 minutes after the restart, they just were outstanding. I think that last try was worth the admission money all on its own. It was just superb. Breathtaking, I think I said, and it was. We said that they had to stand up and be counted and prove perhaps that they are capable of becoming a championship side. And on that performance, yes, they were aided by a very, very poor defence, as Graham said, from Sheffield, but they were just completely blitzed. And the thing that pleased me, and I'm sure that it pleased their coach, Sean McRae, was the fact that they did not concede a try. It's most important to Australians. We know for years the Australian coaches, they like to make sure that they don't concede a try, and that will be a big pleasing factor. They worked as a team, they worked together, and you could see the team spirit building. In and out, in and out. I can do without the kissing, but there was some tremendous stuff out there. But the one thing that I perhaps could give a little bit of advice to Sean McRae and the St Helens players, because you mentioned it, Eddie, you said that champagne stuff, they'll be celebrating tonight, the party's already beginning. I hope it hasn't, because there's still 1 week to go. And I know that Alex Murphy will be saying plenty this week. He will be stirring it up like the old hornet's nest. He'll be saying plenty out there in the media. He's not short of a word, isn't Alex Murphy, and I'm sure that he will build up this game for next weekend to be one of the best for a long, long time.
Well, it will be. There's no doubt about that, because that's the situation at the top of the table at the end of this penultimate weekend of the first Super League. And hasn't it been super all the way through here on Sky Sports? St Helens are sitting pretty at the top. They have the 1-point advantage over the champions for the past 7 seasons, Wigan. Haven't they defended the title magnificently? Bradford are 3rd, Warrington 4th, London 5th. London have to beat Castleford to claim 4th. Warrington have to beat St Helens then to reclaim 4th. Saints have to beat Warrington for champions. Wigan have to beat Workington to make them do it. And you'll be all out to make it so difficult every inch of the way, won't you?
Well, we certainly will, but whatever happens, happens. And then we've got to look forward to the Premiership. So we do get another go at it with the Premiership. We're really looking forward to it. But as we say, it's another weekend to go, and anything can happen.
Indeed so. And of course, Wigan enter the Premiership as defending Premiership holders. Steve-O, not even you could have written the script any better for this. What a weekend we've got to come.
Oh, tremendous. I mean, if it's not packed here, then there's something wrong. And it will be packed. It'll be to the rafters. You will not be able to get a ticket. You'll not be able to get in for this game. It's one game that you could not miss. If you're a rugby league fan, or even if you're not a rugby league fan, believe you me, tune in for this, because this is going to be one cracking game.
I hope you've got your pass and they allow you in, because you're nearly locked out tonight.
Mind you've nearly been locked out every time you've come here, haven't you?
I'll wear a wig next time, I think.
Oh, dear me. But we certainly won't be kissing him.
Please, enough of that.
Graham, when he said that about the kissing, you had a little smile on your face. I'm all in favour of this celebration.
Well, I think it shows team spirit, but the kissing, I think, probably, as Steve said, goes a wee bit far. But there's plenty of team spirit there, and teams can only thrive on that.
Why would you want to? I mean...
Well, why would you want to kiss you, particularly? Now then, we have got a weekend and a half ahead. Boots and all on Thursday at 10:30. We'll look ahead to it all, don't worry about that. And we begin with Workington visit to Wigan on Saturday. Wigan will plonk the gauntlet down, I'm sure, against relegated Workington. Saturday, 5:30. London Castleford next Sunday from the Valley, 6:30. They kick off at 7. And then we're back here again, Bank Holiday Monday, live from Knowsley Road. It's all on Sky Sports 1. Saints against Warrington. As I say, we couldn't have written the script any better. It's a wonderful weekend ahead. Thanks to Graham for being with us. To all of you, bye-bye.
Right now on Sky Sports 2, you can see the Indonesian leg of the World Superbikes Championship. It's live US PGA Golf on Sky Sports 3, and next here on Sky Sports 1, football.
The Stone Super League coverage on Sky is sponsored by The Times.
World Wrestling Federation presents SummerSlam, tonight at midnight, live on Sky Sports 1.
When we bought this house,
Jim's advice was really helpful.
and when we had the twins,
Jim helped us to work things out. Jim's a vital part of this community. He's not a doctor or a teacher. Actually, he's an insurance man.
What makes me different is I work for Royal London. I come from round here, so I know these people really well. And because I know them better, I can advise them better, which is why I've got a few satisfied customers.
Royal London, on hand for a lifetime's insurance needs.
He works for a secret government agency.
Get down!
To protect your future, he will erase your past.
I'll keep you alive, trust me.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Come and get me.
Eraser.
I'm Italian.
He's from Peckham.
Through and through.
His grand's Italian.
That's why I insist on authentic Italian food.
He's gone all authentic since we started shopping at Sainsbury's.
Take this gnocchi.
Has to be Sainsbury's.
Bite-sized dumplings that taste like little clouds.
Made with wheat flour and softly whipped potatoes.
I'll make this fantastic 4-cheese sauce.
Did he do a